You know that person who barely exists online? No stories, no updates, no public proof of what they're doing with their life, no random check-ins, no weekly photo dumps, no constant stream of look what I'm up to. While everyone else is uploading proof that they're having a good time, they're just having a good time. They're not pausing every few minutes to capture it. They're not thinking about how it looks from the outside. They're just in it. No audience, no angles, no performance, no need to turn the moment into something shareable. And from the outside, it might look like they're invisible, like they're not doing much, like nothing interesting is happening, like they disappeared. But what if they're the only ones who aren't trying to be seen? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you opened your camera, framed a moment, typed a caption, and then didn't post it? You had it ready. The photo was good. The caption was there. And then something made you stop. That pause matters, because in that pause, your brain does a quiet calculation, a quick one, sometimes so quick you barely notice it happening. Is this interesting enough? Does this make me look like I'm doing well? Will people care? Will this get ignored? Will this make me look boring? Will this make me look like I'm trying too hard? Somewhere between capturing a moment and sharing it, the moment stops being yours. It starts shifting. It becomes less about what you felt and more about how it will be received. It turns into a presentation, something you arrange, something you shape, something you post for reaction, not just memory. There's a concept in psychology called impression management. It's the idea that we adjust who we are depending on who's watching. We present ourselves differently based on the situation and the audience. Humans have always done this, in conversations, at work, around family, around strangers. That part is normal, but social media turned it into a permanent state. Now, the audience is always there, even when nobody is actively watching. Even when you're alone, you can still feel watched. Now, you're not just living. You're constantly deciding how living should look, how it should appear, how it might be interpreted, whether it looks impressive enough to share. Your memories become content. Your personality becomes presentation. Your identity becomes something you edit. You trim it. You filter it. You caption it. You post the version that feels most acceptable, and nothing ever really disappears. A version of you from years ago can still be pulled up, judged, and frozen in time. An old photo, an old caption, an old opinion, an old phase of your life, still there. So some people quietly step back. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. Not because they're antisocial, not because they're afraid, but because they don't want their life to feel like a performance. They don't want every moment to pass through an imaginary audience first. They don't want to feel like they're always on display. Research shows a large percentage of users mostly observe instead of post. They're there, but in the background. They know what's happening. They keep up. They stay informed. They scroll. They watch. They stay aware, but they don't participate, or they participate very little. We call them lurkers, like something's wrong with them, like they're weird for not posting, like silence means passivity, like if you're not sharing, you're somehow doing social media wrong. But psychology suggests something else. When people feel constantly evaluated, anxiety rises, even if no one says anything directly, even if nobody comments, even if the judgment is only imagined, the pressure can still feel real. When anxiety rises, withdrawal becomes protection, not weakness. Protection. Way to reduce pressure. A way to feel normal again. Because it's exhausting to curate yourself. It's exhausting to always wonder if you're enough. Enough to post. Enough to be liked. Enough to be noticed. Enough to be approved of. And comparison makes it worse. You see promotions, relationships, trips, bodies, milestones, celebrations, big announcements, life updates, happy moments, one after another. You know it's curated. You know people are posting highlights. You know real life is messier than what shows up online. But your subconscious doesn't care. It doesn't stop and say, this is edited. It reacts anyway. It doesn't speak logic. It speaks ranking. They're ahead. I'm behind. They're doing better. I'm not doing enough. They're moving forward. I'm stuck. This is social comparison theory in action. And social media is a non-stop scoreboard. It keeps giving you new people, new updates, new reasons to measure yourself, even when you know better. So people who don't post much aren't losing. They left the competition, or at least they're trying to. They stopped volunteering for a game that never really ends. There's another psychological idea called self-determination theory. It says humans do best when they feel in control of their own choices, not pushed by outside expectations. When they act from their own values, not just pressure. When their choices feel like their own. Ask yourself honestly, when you feel the urge to post, is it because you want to share? Or because it feels strange not to? Because you genuinely want to express something? Or because silence feels uncomfortable? That difference is everything. People who rarely post usually have one thing in common. common. Their self-worth isn't crowdsourced. They don't outsource confidence to likes. They don't need strangers to confirm that their life has value. They don't need public reactions to feel real. They already know it. Think about the quiet people you've met. They're often calm, grounded, present. Not always, but often. They seem less pulled by the need to prove themselves. They seem more comfortable just being where they are. Sometimes the most fulfilled people look the least impressive online, because fulfillment doesn't always look dramatic. It doesn't always come with perfect lighting. It doesn't always come with a caption, because fulfillment doesn't translate well into thumbnails. A peaceful day can look boring online. A meaningful conversation doesn't always become a post. A genuinely good life can be hard to display. Here's a subtle truth. Even scrolling without posting can slowly affect how you see yourself. You don't have to upload anything to be influenced by it. Just being exposed to it every day can change your mood, your standards, your self-image. Psychologists have found that passive consumption increases comparison and lowers mood over time. Not always instantly. Sometimes it happens quietly. You just start feeling a little worse, a little less satisfied, a little more restless. So the people who limit posting often limit exposure too. Not because they're fragile, because they're intentional. They know that what they consume affects how they think, and how they think affects how they feel. They understand that attention is precious, and whatever you feed your attention to shapes your inner world. Your focus is not neutral. Your inputs matter. There's also something powerful about privacy. In a culture built on oversharing, keeping things to yourself feels strange. It can even look suspicious or secretive to people who are used to posting everything. But privacy isn't hiding. Privacy is choosing what deserves an audience. It's deciding that some things matter more when they stay personal. It's keeping a part of your life untouched by public reaction. Some experiences get worse when they're performed. A sunset, a conversation, a small personal win, a quiet moment with someone you love, a moment that only makes sense to you. They're better when they stay yours. Social media promised connection, and sometimes it gives that. It can help people find each other. It can help people share, learn, and stay close. But it quietly built a stage where visibility is rewarded more than honesty, where being seen can start to matter more than being real, where presentation can slowly replace presence. The people who don't post much aren't rejecting connection. They're rejecting the stage. They still connect, just privately, deeply, without the show, without needing an audience for every interaction. Psychologists talk about two kinds of self-awareness. Public self-awareness is worrying about how others see you, how you look, how you sound, how you come across. Private self-awareness is understanding your own thoughts and values, what you actually feel, what actually matters to you, what feels right to you, even if nobody else sees it. Quiet people lean toward the second. Instead of asking, how does this look? They ask, how does this feel? Instead of, will this get attention? They ask, do I even want to share this? That's not avoidance. That's emotional intelligence. That's self-awareness. That's knowing the difference between expression and performance. And here's the paradox. The same traits that keep someone from constantly posting, self-trust, internal validation, emotional control, are the same traits social media claims it can give you. But real confidence doesn't come from visibility. It comes from alignment, from living in a way that matches your values, from not needing constant proof, from not needing every good thing to be witnessed. Maybe the people who don't post aren't missing out. Maybe they figured something out. Maybe they realized that being present feels better than being perceived. That presence beats perception. That living beats performing. That a real life doesn't need an audience. Because at the end of the day, no one wishes they'd posted more. They wish they'd lived more. If this resonated with you, you might want to subscribe. These videos are for people who enjoy slowing down and thinking differently. Thank you for being here.